Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the pretty fascinating dual lives our devices lead on the internet. I mean, have you ever actually stopped to wonder how your phone, your laptop, or, even your smart fridge connects to the world without getting its wires crossed? Well, it all boils down to the vital difference between public and private IPv4 addresses. It's a foundational networking concept, and by the end of this, you'll definitely see your home setup in a totally new light. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We'll hit the digital identity first, look at the private network, and then the globe and passport. After that, we've got the magic bridge, which is NAT, some special use IP addresses, and finally, finding and protecting your IPs. So starting right off with section 1, the digital identity. Every device needs a name. To even send or receive data packets, every single device needs a numerical label, right? An IP address. It's literally just like a postman needing a physical street address to drop off a letter. Without it, you can't hit a website, stream a video, or do anything really, because the data wouldn't know where to go. Now, back in the day, early engineers created over 4 billion of these unique IPv4 addresses. 4 billion! At the time, they thought, hey, this is plenty. But, well, they didn't exactly anticipate the absolute explosion of the web. If every single device today had its own unique global IP, we would have run dry ages ago. So, to dodge a total shortage, engineers had to come up with a clever split, basically creating 2 totally separate worlds of IP addresses. Which brings us to our second world, section 2, the private network, your internal digital sanctuary. Think of this first world exactly like the internal apartment numbers inside a massive residential building. I mean, anyone can live in apartment 4B, right? That number only matters inside that specific building. Private IPs act exactly the same way. They're completely free internal addresses assigned to your devices by a service humming away inside your router called DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. This is all about local communication. Your smart TV, your phone, your laptop, they all get these hidden identities from your router so they can chat with each other, like, say, sending a file to a Wi-Fi printer without ever exposing themselves to the public internet. It's wildly efficient because, let's be real, you don't need a globally unique passport just to print a PDF across the room. To make this work, engineers set aside 3 specific, non-overlapping blocks of addresses just for internal use. As you can see, we've got Class A starting with 10. That's usually for massive organizations. Class B starting with 172.16 for medium networks, and then Class C starting at 192.168. Now, I can pretty much guarantee that most of you watching this explainer right now are sitting on a Class C address. Yep, that classic 192.168. And the beauty of this is that anyone, anywhere in the world, is free to use these exact same ranges inside their own private network without asking anyone for permission. But what happens when you want to leave the house? We step outside into the wild west of the web for section 3, the global passport, your public face on the internet. So, if your private IP is your apartment number, think of your public IP as the main street address for the entire apartment building. These are globally unique, publicly registered addresses, and they're handed out to your modem or router by your ISP, your internet service provider. You actually pay your ISP for this globally unique passport. Make no mistake, without it, you are completely cut off from the outside world. When you go to pull up a YouTube video, your request goes out through this public IP, so YouTube servers know exactly which building to send the data back to. Let's just put these 2 side by side for a second to really lock it in. Your private IP, that's your quiet, internal life. Free, globally non-unique, assigned locally by your router, and highly secure because it is totally hidden from the internet. On the flip side, your public IP is your external life. You pay for it, it has to be globally unique, it's assigned by your ISP, and it is inherently traceable and exposed to anyone out there on the web. So how do we actually link them together? That brings us to section 4, the magic bridge, NAT, connecting the 2 worlds. Okay, we have a major conflict here. If private IPs are entirely blocked from the public internet to save space, but you only have a single public IP connecting your home to the world, how does this work? Imagine Googling something from your laptop on your private 192.168 address. The internet has no idea what that address is, but your router sends the request out using its one public IP. So when Google sends the search results back to your router, how on earth does it magically find its way back to your specific screen and not, accidentally pop up on your roommate's phone or your smart fridge? The answer is the absolute unsung hero of computer networking, NAT, or Network Address Translation. Built right into your router, NAT acts exactly like a hyper-efficient mailroom clerk.
When your laptop sends a request out, NAT steps in, strips away your private IP, slaps the router's public IP onto the outgoing data, and carefully logs the whole transaction in a table. When the internet replies, NAT checks its table, remembers it was your laptop that asked for it, strips off the public IP, and routes the data straight back to your private IP. It translates both ways flawlessly, literally saving billions of addresses globally.
Before we hit the critical security stuff, let's briefly look at Section 5, Special Use IP Addresses. Basically, networking Easter eggs. Aside from just public and private, engineers actually reserved some specific addresses for special, behind-the-scenes tasks. Think of these like the hidden gears of the internet. For instance, in any given network, the first address is always the network identity, and the last is the broadcast address, meaning you can never actually assign those to a computer. Then you've got the loopback address, 127.0.0.1. If you ping this, your computer basically just talks to itself, which is actually a pretty brilliant way to test if your own network card is breathing. Oh, and if your DHCP server ever completely fails, your computer panics a little and auto-assigns a link local address, starting with 169.254. There's even a testnet block purely for teaching, and an entire Class E block reserved strictly for experimental purposes. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's pivot from theory to practice in our final segment, Section 6, Finding and Protecting IPs. Let's take control of your network. Finding your dual identities is incredibly easy, and honestly, I highly encourage you to try this on your own machine. To find your hidden private sanctuary, just pop open Command Prompt on Windows and type ipconfig. Or if you're rocking a Mac or Linux, open your terminal and type ifconfig. Bam! You'll likely see that familiar 192.168 pop right up. Then, to see the global passport your ISP handed you, just open a web browser and Google, "What is my IP?" That one simple search will instantly reveal the public face your router is broadcasting to the entire world. But here is where we really need to talk security. Because your public IP is visible to anyone on the internet, hackers included, it's a vulnerability point for things like location tracking or DDoS attacks. It is absolutely crucial you protect it. A fantastic starting point is using a VPN, which effectively masks your original public IP and keeps you anonymous. You'll also want to make sure your router's firewall is active to block sketchy traffic, and definitely take a minute to update your router's firmware to patch any bugs. It's a smart move to limit port forwarding too, since every open port is basically an unlocked door. If you have visitors over, put them on an isolated guest network so they can't snoop on your private devices, and absolutely never put sensitive stuff like CCTV cameras or file shares directly onto the public internet without some heavy-duty encryption. I'm going to leave you with this final crucial thought. Your public IP is your digital footprint for the whole world to see, tracing right back to your front door. Meanwhile, your private IP is what keeps your personal devices humming together in secret. Now that you fully understand how these two worlds interact and you know all about the magic bridge of NAT connecting them, what steps will you take today to secure your private digital sanctuary? Stay curious, stay secure, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.